Hey guys, Auspicious:Aussie here, and welcome to episode 7 of Black Canvas Grappling. Now, I just want to start this episode off by saying if you want to play TEW 2020, you can find a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, so it will help me out and help the channel out as well. So make sure you use that link to purchase TEW. Anyway, moving on, we are going to be booking Tag Mania. We've got the final tour date. This is tour day number 5. And then Tag Mania will be the second show of the episode. One thing I wanted to look at, because the last time I looked at size, I didn't think it had changed since we started the series, but it actually has. As you can see, we're pretty much up 2 points in these lower regions, like Tohoku, Kanto, and Hokkaido. They're all up from 11. They're now 13, so that's up. And then in the other regions like Chubu, Chigoku, Shikoku, and Kyushu, yeah, we are actually up 1 point. So I think we're hopefully pretty close to getting to 23 in those regions. And as you can see, to actually go up to medium, we do indeed need a 35 in one of those regions. So that's not too bad. Kansai seems to be a little bit stuck at 53, but that's perfectly fine. It is obviously a lot higher, and in order for that to increase, we obviously need a better wrestling industry than we currently have. And then, of course, we also need to be putting on better shows and to be basically just doing better overall. Like I said, we pretty much got the go-home show here. And then, of course, we're going to be getting into the pay-per-view itself. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to actually booking Tag Mania. I did mention it in a comment. One of you guys asked me exactly what's going to happen with the pay-per-view itself, with Tag Mania. It's basically just going to be a single elimination tournament. There's going to be 8 teams involved. Obviously, you pretty much know who those teams are going to be because we have been using them pretty often. Alright, so let's try and do some more meddling here between Animal Haka and Shadow Ichimori. And it's backfired. Okay. So we had one positive, we had a positive medal with Okamoto and Finley. And now we've got a strong dislike and a bit of a backfire there between Animal Haka and Shadow Ichimori. Anyway, again, we're going to go a generic venue. We're up to a 28, so that's definitely going up, I would say, relatively fast, which I think is very important. The wrestling industry, we need it to get to about 46, and then I think we can, we'll start to be pumping out the popularity gains much better than we currently are. Anyway, final tour show. The question is, what are we going to do? Let's have a tag team main... No, let's have a... Yeah, we'll have a tag team main event. And I think we want Shining Force in the main event once again. They are pretty much our best team. But the question is, who are they going to verse? I kind of want to do Finley. And maybe Giant Brody. I feel like that's actually a pretty good main event. The only thing I'm worried about with it, though, is the fact that Giant Brody might not have the stamina required. Either way, Tosh's side is going to pick up the victory. We're going to have Giant Brody be the loser there. Does it need to be scripted? That's another pretty interesting question. I don't think it does. Because the only person I'm worried about is actually Brody. And, he's got 68 psychology, so I think we're going to call this one. Obviously, Import not actually a part of the Tag Mania tournament. They will have a match on the show. It is going to be probably like either a 6-man or an 8-man tag. Probably just taking on some young lions that aren't involved in any tag teams as well. Alright, that looks pretty good for a main event. Could maybe go another 2 minutes. Let's have a look at what's Brody's stamina. Alright, it's only 57. Oh, it's actually increased quite a bit. As you can see, the progression from 55 before the game started up to a 57. Very nice. Psychology stayed the same. What about basics? Yeah, he's gained a little bit in basics as well, going from 77 to 79. Yeah, definitely pretty happy with him. I do like him as that sort of big giant. Well, I mean, it's in his name, Giant Brody. But I feel like he is kind of good enough to actually have a decent run with the title. Alright, up next, we want to go maybe with a... Let's go with an 8-man. And again, we're just going to use some of the tag teams involved, like the American Cobras. I think we might team them with Cloaked in Shadows to take on Agata and Kisaka and Yokikawa and Sen. I feel like that's a pretty good match. We are going to give the American Cobras the victory. As you guys know, I'm a pretty big fan of the Cobras. We might do Steal the Show on that one as well. Just because I think it's going to pretty much be that good. But we will actually reduce that by a little bit. Just by 2 minutes, just down to 10. Otherwise, we're going to get a bit of a penalty. I mean, even Brody is being slightly overused. But that's fine. Up next, I want to do a singles title match for the Challenger Series title. We're going to have Goto basically take on someone. We also want to exclude Booked as well. Maybe Ipitsutsai. Yeah, let's go Ipitsutsai. I want it to be like a relatively well-known person, and Ipitsutsai is, well, he's pretty old, so he's been around for a long time. Definitely has enough sort of experience to hopefully get Goto over with the title on the line. Up next, I think we want to go a trios. Let's go with Blaster Coma, because he's going to be getting his own stable very soon. And this could be a good sort of opportunity for him to maybe scout some people. Let's put him with Sotomura. And who else? Asono? Yuta Asono? Of course, he's been a real standout since we signed him, I think back in episode 2. And they can take on James Diaz. Who else? Maybe these guys, Mitsukuri and Kinoshita. I'm not sure if they're going to be used in the Tag Mania tournament yet. Not 100% sure. Either way, Blaster Coma are going to pick up the victory. I'm also a pretty big fan of Akoma. I do quite enjoy him, and I feel like he's always, whenever I play as BCG, he's always a good leader of a stable for me. That's the way that I see it anyway. Up next, we want to have we need a technical masterclass, and we're actually going to make it a technical masterclass, unlike last episode. So for this one, I think we'll go with... I kind of want to go with Tsuki. But then at the same time, maybe we'll go with Toshinobu Taku. And he can take on Kiyotaka. Make that the technical masterclass. And I think... I mean, this is also kind of playing off the Tag Mania tournament as well, a little bit. Let's give Taku the victory. I think it can be called as well. Okay, never mind. It cannot be called because Kiyotaka is definitely not good enough to be calling matches. Okay. Thank you to Shiga for that one. We still got some more time, so let's do a six man. And I think we kind of just want to put in Funakoshi and Tsuki. So maybe they can team up with a young lion. We don't have any young lions actually in recognizable yet, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we go with Hasaka or maybe Doi. Let's go with Hasaka. And they can take on Doi, Amano, and Kubo. Or Emoto. Let's go with Kubo. And then we'll give the victory to Tsuki. I have to say, that one looks pretty good. I'm happy with that match. Good match for the young lions to get involved in. I think we might actually put it there. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now we want, I think I want 2 angles. Let's go with a Shining Force angle first. So Bunraku and Tori. Hanyu Toshasai. I think we'll script both of them. And obviously both will be on entertainment. And that's them, you know, getting a pretty big victory over Import, or 2 members of the Import stable. And then I guess we just go maybe with... I mean, we could maybe go a Goto Menace angle. I think I'm going to do that. Let's go with a Naozane Goto Menace angle. Alright, I think we'll do it before his match. I think that looks pretty good. Let's do a tag match on the pre-show as well. Do we have any teams left? Let's go with Miura and Yoshizawa. I guess they can just take on the wild animals, yeah. I mean, seems like a pretty easy match for us to book. So there we go. On the pre-show. Alright, let's run it. We start off with a 45, where we have Miura and Yoshizawa defeating the Wild Animals in 12-11, when Noritishi Miura pinned Wild Red Stallion with the End of the World. As you'd expect, Wild Red Stallion being the weak link. However, Yoshizawa has sustained a strained bicep. Oh, that's probably going to put him out of the Tag Mania tournament. I guess in storyline purposes, that kind of is actually a good thing. Because now our tag team champions won't actually suffer a pinfall, because that was sort of what I was planning with going forward. Anyway, we start the show off with a 48, where we have Toshinobu Taku defeating Kiyotaka in 14:56 by pinfall with a gut wrench tombstone. Obviously, technical masterclass, finishing with a tombstone. A little bit strange. But yeah, Taku really not performing too well. Due to his age, I think. Surprising that Kiyotaka actually got a 47 there. I'd actually rate Kamisaka better than him, so I'm actually kind of happy with his performance. We then go into a 44, where we have Blaster Coma, Roku Sudamura, and Yuta Osono defeating James Diaz, Mitsukuri, and Kinoshita in 12:07, when Blaster Coma pinned James Diaz with a Northern Lights bomb. And yeah, Sotomura off his game. Not too great, but also not horrible at the same time. We then go into a 44, which is relatively good for Goto. And he cuts a Menace angle. Alright, so this match got a 44, where we have Naozane Goto defeating Yori Ipitsusai in 9:32 by pinfall with a Goto slam. And we have Naozen Goto making defense number 3 of his BCG Challengers Series title. Moving on to a 46, where we have the 6-man tag. We have Funakoshi, Tsuki, and Iki Hisaka defeating Takanori Doi, Suga Amano, and Nobuyuki Kubo in 11:44 when Tsuki submitted Doi with a Tsuki Special 3. Yeah, pretty good match. Obviously being too short with these two in the match, but that's fine. We then go into a 42 for... Okay, these injuries are kind of putting us back. They're gonna kind of ruin some of the plans that I had. Yeah, a 42 for the 8-man tag, where we have the American Cobras and Cloaked in Shadows defeating Ogata and Kisaka and Yokokawa and Sen in 10-12 when Marvel Malloy pinned Yutaka Ogata with a Marvel Breaker. And as you can see, Ichimori sustained a bruised eye socket during the match as well. Yeah, that's going to keep him out of the tournament as well, I guess. And then finally are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We then go into a 60 for the main event, where we have Shining Force defeating Big Bruiser Finlay and Giant Brody in 1939 when Tanyu Toshisai submitted Giant Brody. But Tanyu Toshisai sustained broken ribs in this match as well. So we got 3 injuries on this one tour date, and each of them is to a member of a tag team that is going to be, or supposed to be, in the Tag Mania tournament next. So it's not looking good. Yeah, there we go, broken ribs. And then we go into a 52 angle to round off the show. And yeah, unfortunately it's with Tanyu Toshisai and Bunraku Kentori. Oh, what a dreadful show. I mean, it was an alright show, but the injuries are just crippling, really. Anyway, it gets us a 54, again, still increasing our popularity in 7 regions of Japan. But yeah, that sucks, man. 3 of our tag teams we were going to put in to the tournament have now been injured. Okay, that's annoying. Giant Brody with a botch. Yokokawa with a botch on Ishimori. And Yoshizawa, I think, was just a freak injury for himself. So we had 2 botches and then 1 normal injury on that show. I don't know, man. That seems a little bit excessive if I have to comment on that. We've got 5 injuries. That's kind of unheard of. All right, luckily we've only got 3 days, but when is it's tomorrow night. Okay, well, let's just get into it. There's no point sort of dwelling on the ridiculous amount of injuries we have at the moment. We're gonna have to try and put a show together. Now, spoilers, but yeah. I'm pretty sure I was going to do Shining Force as the winner of Tag Mania, so I'm going to have to change my plans. Yeah, interesting. Alright, we've got a backstage incident here between Furusawa and Sotomura. Alright, so it's given a small positive impact there. Wrestler's Court for Roku Sotomura. So that's one positive thing I think we can look at. Up next, again, we're going to still continue with some positive meddling. Still didn't work. What do we have going on here? Alright, we need to chuck our event onto Shogun. we'll say, a little bit better than the tour highlight deal we have. So Shogun, I think Shogun's small, and our tour deal is very small. Anyway, let's book a... We're expecting 2,466. But again, I mean, no venue really holds that much. I mean, we have 2,000 there. But everything else is kind of massive. We could maybe go for 5,000. Or we can just stick with generic venue. It's currently got us in the 2,000 seater. Let's go with generic, and I want to see what happens. If we can hopefully pull 2,400, that'd be really clutch. But at the same time, we might only pull 1,800. Pretty much what happened last time with our first Heritage pay-per-view. Anyway, let's start booking the tournament. Now, like I said, things are going to change with the injuries. So, all right. First match, Agata and Kisaka are going to be taking on Yokikawa and Sen. Kind of want to give that just like 8 minutes, if I'm being honest, because we want to keep people pretty fit going forward. Because they are going to have to perform in another match in the semi-finals, the winners, so... Yeah, Sajiro Sen's going to pick up the victory there for Yokikawa and Sen. Next match is going to be... I guess we'll probably have to use these guys, Misakuri and Kinoshita. We've got Kamisaka and Kiyotaka. They are going to take on... I guess we could bring the wild animals in. Or maybe Ipitsutsai and Okamasa. Let's go with Ipitsutsai and Okamasa. They're going to take on Kiyotaka and Kamisaka. And then Kamisaka is going to pick up the victory there. Advancing to the semi-final. Scripted, obviously. There we go. So that one's booked in there as well. Let's then go the next match. It's going to be a pretty good first round match. We're going to have Team Taku taking on Funakoshi and Tsuki. I suppose we'll give it 12, I guess. Let's give Funakoshi the victory there as well. I think we'll put that one there, so they're going to be different sides of the brackets. Because these two winners will verse each other in a semi-final. And then the bottom two will verse each other as well. So then the final match will be with... Exclude booked. So we've got the Cobras, and they're going to be taking on... I guess we'll go with the Wild Animals, maybe? Or... Yeah, let's go with the Wild Animals. And we'll give Storm Spillane the victory there. Alright, now let's book our semi-finals. So we want to have... who was in the first one? It was Yokikawa and Sen. And they're going to be taking on Funakoshi and Tsuki. And we'll give Tsuki the victory in that one. Just to, you know, change things up a little bit. I'm wondering if we can actually call this match. We probably can. Yeah, I think we can. So that's a little bit more beneficial. There we go. And then we need Kamisaka and Kiyotaka to take on the American Cobras. And we'll give Marvel the victory there. So our final is going to be Funakoshi and Tsuki taking on the American Cobras. Now, I think this is going to be a pretty good final, actually. I'm kind of happy about it. And I think we're going to go an interesting way with this match as well. Alright, so Funakoshi and Tsuki. I think we'll try and give it 20 minutes. I'm a little bit worried about overusing these guys. And I don't really think there's any kind of way around that as such. But unfortunately, I think it is what it is. Like, we kind of have to do it at this point. I mean, maybe... I mean, it's not going to really make a difference if we lower it anyway. But what's going to happen is Storm Spillane's going to pick up the victory. And the loser is going to be Tsuki. We're also going to keep Funakoshi strong. But yeah, the American Cobras are going to win this match. And undoubtedly, it's going to be the biggest match of their career. Alrighty. Maybe we should make a new title for the actual Tag Mania, because it's... I mean, can we? We can create title there. Should we do it? I think we should. I'll try and get a picture of it at some stage, or make a picture myself. But let's just call it BCG Tag Mania Tournament. Just like that. I think that looks pretty good, because I would like to do a tag team tournament. Of course, we already have the Yoshifusa Maida Grand Prix, which is a singles sort of tournament itself. Obviously, different rules with 2 groups and lots of matches. But this one's pretty interesting, and I do like it. We're going to make it tag team. Always 2v2. I mean, this is all kind of for the AI stuff anyway. Function needs to be... Ooh. What am I looking... I'm looking to make it a tournament title. Annual competition. Okay, there we go. Held at Tag Mania tournament. Title is retained after victory. I'm not really too sure what that means, but there we go. I think I might have made that correctly. Okay. It looks pretty good, either way. Okay. Why is it not there? Is there a way to actually do a tournament properly? I'm pretty sure there is, because you can make brackets and stuff like that. Which is a little bit different to how it used to be. Probably should have looked into that a little bit more. Tournaments. Me using this format would have been a lot better. But then again, we only kind of start at this level here, not this many people, or this many tag teams in this case. Either way, I know we can't actually put the tournament title on the line. Should I just edit it? I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter too much, I guess. Let's just book it. That's going to be our final. Yeah, they're being used far too much, the American Cobras, but I guess this is kind of hopefully their breakout as a proper tag team. in BCG, where they sort of push themselves up the card a little bit more. Anyway, we've got to book a couple more matches, so let's go with an 8-man tag, exclude everyone already booked. And again, like I said, we'll go Finley. Let's go... is Giant Brody the one with the injury? No, Giant Brody's the one that botched the injury, isn't he? Typical. And then I guess we'll go Dreadnought. Maybe James Diaz? Interesting. Anyway, let's go with Goto on the other team. And he can be partnered by Narahashi. And then maybe Mitsukuri and Kinoshita. Again, kind of an interesting match. We'll give Finley the victory there. But there's one match. We're pretty much going to use these to break up the semi-finals and then, of course, the final later as well. So for this one, let's go with a... well, we do need a technical masterclass as well. Maybe we could have that to start off the show. Maybe we go with Bunraku and Tori, and he can take on someone... maybe Blaster Coma. Let's give that 20 minutes. Technical masterclass, 20 minutes. And we'll have Bunraku and Tori pick up the victory there as well. Ooh, what am I doing? That one needs to be there. That one needs to be there. Alright, there we go. So we start off the show with a singles match. I know it's kind of a bit silly to have a singles match on a Tag Mania show. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense at all, but I'm trying to justify it in my head. Either way, we need one more match as well. Let's go with a trios. And let's have Furusawa. And he can team up with... maybe Miura, and we'll go with Urigataya. Yeah, I like that team. And they can take on Iki Hisaka, Shuga Amano, and Yuta Asono. I do really like these three guys. They're all really... I don't know, they're all really talented, and I think they all have a pretty bright future here in BCG. So we'll get them on the pay-per-view as well. Obviously, you know, they're going up against a pretty good team. We'll give Furusawa the victory there. I do have some plans for Furusawa as well in the future, where he's going to possibly open his own stable as well, or create his own stable, and go on a pretty big recruiting mission. Either way, I like that match, and that one's going to go... I think that one's going to be our Steal the Show. Yeah. And that one can go on just before the final. So let's have a look. What's wrong? Lots of people are being slightly overused, and again, we're going to get the referee penalty, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. We can hire a second referee at some stage. But then again, it's only going to be used for pay-per-views because I don't think we really have that much time on our tour dates. Either way, we do need to change one thing, and that was the 4-on-4 we need to reduce by 1 minute, I guess. Yeah, so that solves a couple of our overuse issues there for Dreadnought and for James Diaz. We also need to do some angles, so let's do Funakoshi and Tsuki. And that's going to be prior to the main event, where they pretty much think they're going to win the Tag Mania tournament. Then up next, I guess we start the show off with Bunraku and Tori coming out as well. And he basically says Unfortunately, we are having to pull out of the Tag Mania tournament due to Hanyu Toshasai. And I think that'll pretty much do us, because we're at the maximum allotted time already. So, we need to reduce 2 minutes off of something. Why is that so long? Let's reduce that to 10. There we go. Alright, that solves our issue. We're at max allotted time, like I said. We'll do a pre-show match as well. Just pretty much throw whoever is left. So Prowler can team up with Sotomura and Ozawa. And then we'll have Emoto, Doi, and... let's go with Matsuzawa. Don't really use him too often. On the pre-show, and then we'll give the victory to... Let's give it to Prowler. Because they were actually going to pick up a victory. Cloaked in Shadows, we're going to pick up a first round victory. Bit of an upset, but, you know, it's not to be, unfortunately. So, yeah. Prowler Igarashi can get a nice little pre-show victory there for himself. Anyway, that looks pretty good. Let's run the show. We start off with a 44. Where we have Prowler Igarashi and Sotomura and Ozawa defeating... defeating Suguru Emoto, Takanori Doi, and Yoshisada Matsuzawa in 12:06 when Prowler pinned Takanori Doi with a flying elbow drop. Not a bad match there for the pre-show. We then start the show off with a 62 rated angle where, of course, Bunraku Kintori comes out and explains the unfortunate injury to his Shining Force tag team partner, Hanyu Toshasai, and says that he is going to represent his fellow tag team partner and put on an absolute clinic tonight. And of course, he's in the Technical Masterclass, which does pretty well, getting a 64. And we have Bunraku Kintori defeating Blaster Coma in 20:27 by pinfall with a spinning forearm smash. Just a pretty good match by both of them. Also, 2,300 people. Definitely very happy about that. Extra 300 than we would have gotten had we just run in the arena. We then go into our first round match, our first round match, getting a 44, where we have another injury, man. I got to turn injuries down. They're way too common. I'm not sure if that's just the fact that we're still playing the beta, and that's a bit of an issue with the beta. But anyway, Yokokawa and Sen defeated Agata and Kisaka in 7:45 when Sajuro Sen submitted Yutaka Agata with an over-the-shoulder backbreaker. And of course, these two having great chemistry together. We then go into our... what happened there? Oh, wow. The show will need to be rebooked as a result. Okay. I did not realize that this was even possible. That's a pretty cool function, man. I'm low-key actually kind of impressed. Like, a lot of the new features have really impressed me. This one is something completely different that I wasn't expecting, that I didn't even realize was a thing. But it is very cool. So either way, I have no idea what we're going to do here. I guess we might kind of just use somebody else. I mean, we have to use somebody else. Or should we just go... Alright, so what I'm going to do is we are going to... I think we'll bring Dynamite Narahashi in for... Who got injured? It was Yokokawa, right? Hold on, let me go back. I need to double check that. I'm pretty sure it was Yokokawa. Skills, thank you. Yeah, so it's Yokokawa. Okay, that makes sense. So Dynamite Narahashi, he has already wrestled, but let's bring him in anyway. And I guess in our Road Agent notes, we'll actually have Narahashi lose. I guess that can set up a match between Sojuru Sen and Dynamite Narahashi on the next tour date. Alright, there we go. I think we sorted that out. So, yeah, that's so strange. Anyway, this next match doing really well, getting a 62, where we have Funakoshi and Tsuki defeating Team Taku, who were the unlucky team that drew Funakoshi and Tsuki in the first round. And they lost in 9:40 when Funakoshi pinned Toshinobu Taku with a butterfly backbreaker. 75 in-ring performance there for Funakoshi. Moving on to the final first round match, getting a 54, where we have Kamisaka and Kiyotaka defeating Ipitsutsai and Okamasa in 7:41, when Kadonomaru Kamisaka submitted Jaruku Okamasa with a triangle choke. Yeah, that was a pretty good match, actually. Kamisaka and Kiyotaka really impressing me at the moment. I mean, they both had a 50 or above, and the match itself getting a 54. I low-key like that. I like that. We then go into... Sorry. We had one more match in the first round. Anyway, getting a 56 as well, so that's also really good. We have the American Cobras defeating the Wild Animals in 7:40 when Storm Spillane submitted Wild Red Stallion with a kneeling Boston Crab. And yeah, I mean, obviously, the American Cobras are really, really good. Moving into the 8-man tag, the splitter match between the tournament. Getting a 54, where we have Big Bruiser Finley, Giant Brody, Dreadnought, and James Diaz defeating Naozane Goto, Dynamite Narahashi, and Misakuri and Kinoshita in 10:46 when Big Bruiser Finley pinned Koyo Kinoshita with an atomic spinebuster. Yeah, just a pretty good filler match, to be honest. A 54, I think, is pretty respectable. And again, we've still got Giant Brody and Naozane Goto sort of going at each other, even though it is kind of a filler match. We then go into the semi-finals where we get a 68, where we have Funakoshi and Tsuki defeating Dynamite Narahashi and Sojuru Sen in 9:51. When Tsuki submitted Dynamite Narahashi with a Tsuki Special 3. And of course, Funakoshi head and shoulders above everybody else in the match with an 82 this time. That's pretty impressive. We then go into the other semi-final where we get a 65, so also relatively good. And, these two are probably, I would say, the closest contenders for the World Tag Team titles at the moment. And we actually have the American Cobras defeating Kamisaka and Kiyotaka in 9:51 when Marvin Malloy pinned Kiyotaka with a Cobra Strike. Yeah, just a really good performance. Marvin Malloy getting a 66 in this match. Now that is impressive. We then go into a 51 for the filler match with 6-man filler match, basically, where we have Furusawa, Noritishi Miura, and Masashi Irigataya defeating Iki Hisaka, Shiga Amano, and Yuta Isono in 11:55 when Furusawa submitted Amano with a Furusawa armbar. And once again, we've got another injury, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is ridiculous. I'm going to turn it down to low, at least until the full release, because, yeah, we have a pretty intense product, but, I mean, we're picking up like 2 or 3 injuries per show at this point. That's got to be turned down. It's not even close to being realistic at all. And it's a little bit frustrating. Obviously, something needs to be tweaked before the full release. Anyway, we then go into a 61 rated angle for Tsuki and Funakoshi, where they pretty much say that without shining force in the tournament, they're pretty much going to win. You know, it was a given. As soon as Bruno Kukantori came out tonight and said that they had to pull out of the tournament, Funakoshi and Tsuki knew that they had already won it. And of course, we go into the final, which does really, really well, getting a 74, which is the best match of the night. And we have the upset victory, the American Cobras defeating Funakoshi and Tsuki in 2003 when Storm Spillane submitted Tsuki with a kneeling Boston Crab. Crazy match. Funakoshi with an 85, Tsuki with an 81 in-ring performance, and then we have Marvel with a 59 and Storm with a 54. But that's going to massively help their popularity. We'll check it after here. So let's finish the show. And we get a 65 for Tag Mania 7. So I'm definitely happy with that. But again, we get penalties for Marvel Malloy and Storm Spillane. Used far too much in the show. You know, but that was needed. They had to be used too much, you know. And again, it actually increased our popularity in all 8 Japanese regions. So Kansai, hopefully, will increase. Anyway, let's do a little speech here. Who got injured? So I'm pretty sure it was Yokokawa, and then Shuga Amano, I think, got injured as well. So praise both of them, and then I think I want to go with Marvel Malloy, pulling off that that's over 60 in-ring performance in one of the in the semi-final, I think it was. Really helped out that semi-final match rating against Kamasaka and Kiyotaka. Definitely impressed. And of course, now the American Cobras are #1 contenders. Essentially, they get to choose whenever they want to actually challenge for the titles. It could be the next pay-per-view, or it could be down the line, could be at our season finale. You know, the Lions Raw. And apparently Funakoshi thinks Koyo Kinoshita is going to be a star. I mean, I kind of agree. He's got the star quality and charisma. But there's just, I don't know, apart from that, there's really just not a lot else going on about him. He does have menace, I suppose. Good brawling, but pretty low psychology. Yeah, interesting. We got the viewing figures as well, getting a 0.02, which I think is up. I think we got 0.01 for our first pay-per-view. So yeah, pretty happy about that. And then we have all of these injuries. So we've got the strained bicep as well for Amano, which I think is only going to be a short injury. And then we have a separated shoulder there for Yokokawa. And then, yeah. And then we got our botches as well. So let me just go in here. We want to go into the roster. We'll check the popularity as well. But let's reset that. What's happening to the roster here? Can we reset? There we go. Alright, so we want Marvel Malloy. Well, I guess we can go Storm Spillane first. Let's have a look at his popularity. He's up to a 47 in Kansai and a 40 in Chubu. That is massively up. I mean, this month has been a really good month for the American Cobras. Really good month. Where's Marvel? And Marvel's up to a 47 in Kansai as well. That's massive, man. That's really, really big. Now, the one thing I'm worried about and why we kept Funakoshi strong in the match, I was worried about him losing popularity. And he's only lost 1 point. He only lost 1 point of popularity. I'm kind of fine with that. Because we really needed him to be performing in those matches. Tsuki, on the other hand, probably lost... He only lost another point. Okay, that's not too bad. I feel a bit sorry for Tsuki. We're jobbing him out a little bit, and he was probably the ace of Golden Canvas. Anyway, let's have a look at the size here. We're still unfortunately at a 53 in Kansai. But we are up to a 23 in Chubu. And I'm assuming it must be pretty close for these other 3 regions here. that are also on 22. They must be getting pretty close to 23, so I'm happy about that. That's pretty good. At least we know the popularity is rising. Anyway, the next episode is going to be the start of the Fighting Spirit Tour. And of course, the Lions Roar, as I mentioned, is our season finale. And of course, the American Cobras can essentially challenge whichever pay-per-view they want. So if they want to go the Lions Roar for the World Tag Team titles, whoever the champions may be at that stage, they can do that. Or they can just do the next pay-per-view if they want. Which will be, of course, the Fighting Spirit pay-per-view there, as you can see. Regardless, that's going to be the end of the episode, guys. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are a new viewer. Turn on the notification bell. I think we're up to about 7.7% of my subscribers turning the bell notifications on, which I want to say thank you for. It's massively up. It used to be at 6.5, so that's increased a lot. Also, don't forget, if you want to play TEW 2020, you can find the link for that in the description. First link there. And yeah, you can head over to Grey Dog Software and purchase the game. Apart from that, guys, as always, take it easy and goodbye.